Welcome to the Rise to Shine podcast with Noelle Custis, where we ignite the spark to discover your favorite self. It is time to get real, ladies. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another episode. I am your host, Noelle Custis. And before we get started, I wanted to talk reviews. Reviews are like the magic beans of the podcast world. They help us to show growth and reach new listeners. So to express my deepest gratitude for all of you that have been supporting me through this endeavor, I'm giving away a delicious coffee or tea on me, your choice, for one lucky reviewer that has taken the time to write a review. So on each solo episode this summer, you will get an opportunity to win a coffee or tea on me, and you get a special shout out as well. So today's lucky winner is Tanya and Beth 321. And this review says, in a world where we are pulled in so many directions, it's so important to learn how to navigate with these powerful tools Noelle and her guests offer. Thank you for being a light that sparkles so bright in a sometimes dim and dark world. Thank you so much for taking the time to write that review. It truly means the world to me. And most importantly, for being one of our listeners. I am honored to step into this podcasting world, and I'm even more honored to spread a little love and light into this world as well. So please make sure, Tanya and Beth 321, that you reach out with a DM on either Instagram or Facebook, and you will find those links in the show notes. I cannot wait to treat you. So today we're going to get raw, we're going to get really vulnerable, and we're getting real about what it means to be a next chapter woman. Now, this has been something that has been near and dear to my heart most recently. As a matter of fact, I was just telling my husband the other day that women need so much support around this season because, as exciting as it sounds, it is also one of the most pivotal seasons of our lives that bring a lot of different emotions. Believe me when I say this isn't just another self-help narrative. This is about you, the woman who is staring down a new horizon. So maybe that means that your kids are growing up, or your career is shifting, or you are simply craving a fresh start. Whatever your story, this episode is going to be your anthem. Trust me. This episode is for the woman or the women who are ready to rip off the outdated script and step into a life that truly ignites her. My ultimate goal is for you to realize that you are not alone. I don't know about you, but for me, it helps when I know that other women are in the trenches with me and they're feeling all of those glorious, messy, and quite frankly, utterly crazy moments. Because that's when I realize that this is all part of the transformative journey of becoming a new chapter woman. So, let's first dive into what exactly is a next chapter woman, at least in my definition, in my brain, how this works and how I think this through. So I want you to imagine her. The next chapter woman isn't defined by age. It's really more about a new stage. For me, this happened to be in my 40s. For everyone, it could look different. But she is a woman that is in flux. So she's kind of going through that beautiful metamorphosis, yet she is a little scared. She's excited and quite possibly unsure of exactly what is ahead, what is coming next. She's shedding all of the old expectations and embracing the unknown. She's ready to write the next chapter because, hear me out, she has lived, she has loved, and she has maybe even felt a little lost along the way. But here's the thing, she is absolutely not settling. The next chapter woman is ready to step in. So, what does she look like? Well, she's going to come in every color, every shape, and every background. She isn't defined by a job title or a tax bracket. She's not defined by her marital status. She is the woman that you see in the grocery store with laughter lines that are wrinkling around her eyes. Okay, right here. The one next to you at the yoga class that has that really determined look on her face, or maybe she's wondering how she fits into this world of Lululemon from head to toe. It can be either one, but she is also the one that is juggling a million tasks with grace, maybe a little caffeine, but most importantly, I want you to forget about the stereotypes, because the next chapter woman is many of you listening to this right now. You have overcome the challenges, you've embraced the joys, and emerged stronger and stronger with every single chapter. So I want you to look around, because really, she's everywhere. She's the stay at home mom who's poured her heart out into raising her children. And now those little ones are starting to spread their wings. So she's ready to fly too. She is the one that is finding that newfound purpose, or desiring to find that newfound purpose. And she has a thirst for rediscovering the woman she was, but also the woman that she wants to become. Maybe she is the retail worker or the server who goes above and beyond for all of her customers. And now she's craving a career shift or a chance to learn a new skill, or maybe she even wants to go back to school. It can be the teacher, the nurse, all of those everyday heroes. These are the women dedicating their lives to others. And their next chapter might be about dedicating their life to themselves for a little bit. Maybe it's about their own personal growth or self care, or finally tackling something they've always dreamed of doing. It could be the single woman. Maybe you have built a fulfilling life on your own terms, but now you're ready to reconnect with a dream. And it can even be that powerhouse CEO. You have dominated your career, but now you're ready to inspire the next generation of leaders. The next chapter woman is all of these women and so much more. She's you. I want you to look in the mirror. You are already radiating strength. You are radiating resilience and the potential for an extraordinary next chapter. And that is exactly what unites all of us. And that is what gives me the chills when I talk about it, because it is so powerful when you think of yourself as a next chapter woman. But you also may be wondering, what does she feel like? Because, yeah, all of this sounds great, but man, you may be feeling like a ton of stuff is coming up for you recently. You are feeling all of the feels. Well, I'm going to tell you, it is totally a roller coaster of emotions. It isn't always pretty, because we might be feeling that exhilaration. We could be feeling a ton of doubt. We could be feeling a ton of fear, a touch of what in the heck am I doing? And maybe even a touch of grief, because it's really about that bittersweet spot of letting go paired with this new, like, thrilling step of stepping into your own power. It's rediscovering who you are, a woman who wants more. And guess what? I have to share this with you. It's okay to want more for yourself. So many of us as women struggle with giving us the permission to want more for ourselves. I talk about this a lot because I find that these are the conversations that I'm having, that women, for some reason, we struggle with wanting things for ourselves. We think we are supposed to be the ones that are giving all the time, the ones that are serving all the time. But, friend, you deserve this chapter. You have poured your heart and soul into this life. And likely you're a mom that has raised incredible humans. So now this is your time to shine. This isn't about neglecting others or your family. It's about showing them that growth is a lifelong journey. It never stops. We're always continuously moving forward. And when you thrive, here's the coolest part. There is a ripple effect that touches your family, touches your community, and even touches the world. We show the world that growth and transformation and reinvention are possible at any stage of life. I mean, how many of you have heard of that 80-year-old that has graduated from college? I mean, if that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what will. Women at all stages of life are doing great things. So, what I really want to focus on today is the next chapter, Mama. Specifically, I want to talk about this because I know that many of you that are listeners are exactly that. This is you. If you are the woman whose children are venturing out, becoming more independent, this is you if you are already an empty nester. Maybe it's even you if you are a wee bit older and still trying to figure out this space. Because it's really going to be about navigating a changing dynamic where your role as a mom starts to evolve from this constant caregiver to more of this supportive guide. But here is the secret. This shift does not diminish your role. It just transforms it. You get to redefine motherhood on your terms now. You have the space now to rediscover your passions and explore new pursuits and nurture your own dreams. Being a next chapter mama is about embracing this transformation. So, shall we start with my favorite part of the solo episodes? This is always my favorite part, the tools and strategies part. So if you want, like I always say, get out those journals, ladies, or just absorb this through listening. But most importantly, grab at least one takeaway from this episode and begin to follow and implement it, because this is where you will start the transformation. This is where you will start to notice change in your life. If you're just listening and not taking action on anything, that is where you're going to continuously find yourself in the struggle. So, I want to kind of go over a few ways for you to navigate this next chapter. And the first one is all about self-discovery. So, this is where I want you to think about reconnecting with your pre mom self. So, what did you love back then before you became a mom? What did you dream of? What were you dreaming of? What set your soul on fire years ago? Take some of that time to really reflect on this and think about that, because that is where you're going to find the magic. And that's where you'll get to kind of like dust off those passions and reignite the fire. Because we tend, while we're in motherhood, we tend to forget our pre-mom selves, right? Or we look back on it and we're just like, oh my gosh, those were the crazy years. Those were the years before all the stress, right? But it's a great place to start when we start to think about what excited us outside of being a mom. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe part of your self discovery is, oh my gosh, I've been looking through the window of others and seeing what other people are doing. And I just feel like I haven't had the time to do that. I haven't given myself permission to do that. And maybe it's something you've wanted to try. Maybe it looks like it's a ton of fun. Pickleball, anyone? I feel like that's the new like rage. I see it everywhere. Maybe that is something that you're like, ooh, that would be amazing to go out there and do something for myself like that. So, self discovery. Also, embrace the shift. So, I mentioned it at the beginning of the episode, and I talked about that sometimes we may feel a little grief during this session. The reason why we feel that is because there's a little bit of grief for the life that we are leaving behind. Let me explain that a little further. So, first of all, it's totally normal. You're not different from anyone else. So, don't beat yourself up for this if you're feeling a little sad and you're feeling a little bit of grief, because your role as a mom is starting to change, or it has changed. But here's the thing, your love never does. So, celebrate your children's independence and use it as an opportunity for your own growth. Because let me tell you, and you know this as you're going through life's moments, if you're not there yet, you will soon find out that when they're younger, I laugh about this a lot because we're so we're so worried and we're so concerned about all of the things that they're doing. We're like, oh my gosh, we got to teach them to swim so, we can have a pool in the backyard and they're safe. We have to make sure they're getting the best education. We have to make sure that they're a good human, and we have to teach them their manners. So when they go to other people's homes, they are, doing the right thing. Like, there's all of these things that we're trying to teach them when they're little. And quite frankly, we have a heck of a lot more control when they're small, right? It's when they start to become more independent and they get bigger that it's almost like the problems become a little bit bigger and we have less control. So it's scary and it feels a little heavy at times, and it does, feel sad for us because we wish that we had a little more control over their decisions and their choices. But no matter what, we can love them just as hard along the way. It's just that our role changes. And we do want them to know that we're celebrating them, because after all, isn't this like what we did? We prepared them for all of this. So just think about that. Also, invest in yourself. Take a class, start a new hobby, nurture your growth, your mind, your body, your spirit. I was always so scared to do this. And here's where I'm going to get super, super personal, because this was the hardest one for me by far, investing in myself. Now, I'm going to share with you just something that recently happened and a major personal reflection that I had with it. So, as some of you may know, my 15-year-old son just left for Barcelona, Spain to go on a summer study abroad program. And hear me out, When he approached us with this idea, I seriously did not think that this was going to happen this year, like at all. I was thinking way down the line, like when my daughter did it in college. I was thinking maybe he would do something like this his senior year. But here we are with my go getter son applying, raising money for the expenses, doing it all on his own. And bam, not only does he get accepted, but he gets a partial scholarship for it as well. So we were like, oh, because I still couldn't believe that I was agreeing to this. I mean, this is the honest to God's truth. I did not think this was really going to happen. And so here I am agreeing to this. And I started to think about it and I was like, I would have never said yes to this a few years ago. If he were 15 years old a few years ago, I would have never said yes to this. And here is where I want to get really real with you about this reflection. And I promise it ties into the whole invest in yourself thing because I had always invested in my kids. We were involved with travel sports. I put them in summer camps. I was involved in National Charity League, Girl Scouts, you name it. I always saved the money to make it happen. I made sure that they had opportunities and experiences and a great education. Why? Because that's what we do for our kids. That's what we do for them. We do the investing because we want them to be well rounded. We want them to learn. We want them to grow. We want them to be happy. We want to broaden their lens. We want the best for them. Am I right? However, it wasn't until I was literally so burned out and so overwhelmed and so feeling unfulfilled that I decided to finally invest in myself, like really investing in myself. It took that to get me to go beyond the quick fixes. It was so hard to allow myself to spend money on myself to work on the things that were the most important, like my emotional well being, my physical health. Yes, I spent money on clothes, accessories, my nails, a night out with the girls, but those were all temporary investments. I did not invest in things that shifted my mindset. Heck, I didn't even know what that looked like, to be honest with you. I didn't really invest in things that helped me understand the depths of my trauma and why I was the way I was, full of anxiety and maybe even a little depression. And maybe having habits that I just stayed in the busy so I didn't have to deal with the hard things. I did spend money on therapy. I still do, but I always even felt guilty about that. How silly, right? But totally my truth. And I wouldn't be surprised if you were someone feeling the same. The reason why I know this is because I talk to so many of my clients and we're having these exact conversations. They tell me how getting coaching or paying for a course with me is one of their very first investments. So, with that being said, as I left my 15-year-old son at the airport to head to another country, of course, I cried. I squeezed him extra tight. I took all of the pictures. I was totally that mom that kept waking up through the night as I followed his flight. But aside from that very typical worry, the nervousness, and the bittersweet feelings, I was also able to keep things in check. I was able to wake up the next morning smiling rather than spiraling in total anxiety. I didn't lay in bed all day regretting the decision of letting him go. I am not second guessing any of it. But that is only because I realized that I had invested in myself to learn the strategies to be stronger and to have the bandwidth to hold this space for me and for him. I have found my purpose in life at this stage in the game. And I am living in authentic joy in which I can lean into during these hard seasons. I'm able to get the support that I need when I need it. And the best part was reflecting on the fact that because of all of my own growth, I get to show up better for my kids, better for my family. I get to say yes to the things that I would not have been brave enough to do before. And that feels freaking awesome. It was like a huge realization for me. I was actually proud of myself because I wasn't feeling the shame around those limiting thoughts and actions that I used to have. But yet, for some reason, there is still so much guilt about prioritizing ourselves as moms. So, if I can encourage you about anything, do not feel guilty about this. Self compassion is going to literally be your very best friend during this season. I notice I'm saying a lot of pauses because I'm like, that's my way of emphasizing this to you. All right. So the next one is build your support system. Surround yourself with other next chapter women who understand this unique journey because not everybody is there yet. So, if I can recommend one book for you, really and truly, I want to recommend this book called Find Your People by Jenny Allen. And the reason why I say that is because, as lovely as it sounds to build your support system, ironically enough, during this season in our lives, it is very typical for women to kind of, I don't want to say push away other women, but kind of like go in our own little bubble, if that makes sense. So I will tell you that this book has really helped me in this area because I've actually been struggling a little bit with relationships at this stage of my life, which is crazy because I have so many beautiful friends. But I also notice that one of my habits has become wanting to just be home and be comfy and to close off the world around me sometimes. And you may be feeling that too. But in this stage, I'm also realizing that we're not meant to do life alone. We are really actually meant to have people in our lives. And it doesn't have to look like what it looked like in your 20s and your 30s or as a teenager. I mean, as parents of young children, I do remember I met a ton of friends, having a ton of new friends because we were all at the soccer games. We were all involved with National Charity League. We were involved with all the play groups and all of the young moms were getting together. But I also know that 2020, 2021, it changed a lot for us as people in this society. So just remember, your support system can simply be just a couple close girlfriends. But I'm going to tell you to have a couple of those close girlfriends is going to be crucial to your support system. And I do want to just let you know, stay tuned because I am scheming right now about doing a podcast with some of my favorite ladies about this book and community. We've been having a book club on it, and I thought, man, we definitely need to have a podcast around this because it is so powerful. So stay tuned for that because I have a feeling that maybe just around the corner. All right. So, friend, this next chapter is yours to claim. It's about rewriting your script and defying those expectations and living a life on your terms. Believe me, you are strong and capable and ready for whatever comes next. And here are the cool things that get to come with it. Number one, if you have a partner, it is time to reconnect with them. Schedule us time dates. Block out time in your calendar just for the two of you. It can be a fancy dinner, it can be a walk in the park, or even just an uninterrupted conversation over coffee. The key is to be fully present with each other. So, my two faves are coffee on Saturday and Sunday mornings together. My husband does not drink coffee during the week. And at least a couple of times a week, we meet up on the couch for either an episode we may be watching on Netflix, or maybe it's just putting on some music we enjoy. And more often than not, I'm pretty lucky because I get a foot rub that comes along with it. So, whatever that looks like for you, reconnect with your partner. They're your best friend. Rekindle that. And then rediscover those shared passions. Did you used to love hiking together before your kids? Maybe you both loved those cheesy movies. Have a movie marathon and just cuddle up on the couch. Reconnect with the things that used to bring you joy as a couple. I may be a little embarrassed to admit this, but my husband and I were both huge fans of 90210, Beverly Hills 90210. If any of you are listening and know what I'm talking about, shout out to Beverly Hills 90210. And when we started dating, we would often talk about this and we would laugh at certain episodes. I don't know. It was just like one of those connection points. But guess what he did? He suggested that we start watching some of these episodes again from the beginning, and we did. But even better than that, you guys, and kind of more hilarious, is he ended up having Beverly Hills Beach Club shirts made for us. You guys, if you know what these are, Brandon wore the green one, and I think it said Beverly Hills Beach Club, like the little logo. And then the girls wore the white, like sleeveless ones. Um, I literally thought he was joking when he said that he ordered these, but he wasn't, because he loves conversational pieces. That's kind of more of the extrovert in him. And yes, we are total dorks at heart. So if you see us wearing these, you will know the backstory to that. So we'll either get made fun of or we'll get a laugh from it and people will love it. So, anyways, all right. And then also just remember too, when you're reconnecting with your partner, that teamwork makes the dream work. Divide and conquer those household chores. You're not going to have the kiddos around, but then again, you're not going to have the kiddos around. So you will probably have a more tidy home. Your kids are older, so maybe perhaps they're picking up after themselves a little bit, or you just simply close the door and don't deal with their room. But start to share those chores and responsibilities, because this is going to free up that time. And it also shows that you guys are in it together. And, it's just about making it fun with your partner. Also, find your me time without the guilt. Without the guilt, ladies. Start small. You don't need hours of free time at the beginning. You can just simply take like 15 minutes a day. Read a book or journal or have a cup of coffee in peace. Because here's the thing is, it's going to be important for you. It's going to be important for you to find that me time to rediscover yourself, and talk to your partner, talk to your kids if they're still at home about your me time, and explain to them how it's making you a better mom, a wife, or an overall person, because they're going to be more supportive if they understand where you're coming from. And I guarantee you, this is going to change how you show up for them too. So they're going to get it. Maybe you've already set some of those great boundaries. I hope you have. If you haven't, here's your reminder to do so. And then also get creative. Find solutions that fit your schedule. So I've been working on this new framework that I am so excited about. It's called the Golden Hour Method, and it's going to be part of my Shine by Design program. And honestly, this is life-changing. It takes away the guilt of feeling like you have to do everything in the morning before the house wakes up. That was always kind of my mantra before. But you know what? Let's face it, not all of us are morning people. I happen to be, but not all of you are. And I get that. So the Golden Hour framework is awesome. But most importantly, embrace the joy of watching your children blossom. Celebrate the milestones, the big and small. Did they get their driver's license? Make their favorite meal and celebrate them. Acknowledge their growth, no matter how big or small, because what it's going to do, it's going to fuel their confidence and fuel your pride. And then the hard part, let go with love. It can be hard to watch them become independent, but trust that you've raised them well. Encourage them to explore their passions and make their own choices. Offer all of your support and your guidance, but remember they're learning to fly on their own. Help them do that. And then focus on the positive. This new chapter allows you to witness the amazing person or people you have helped create. Enjoy their newfound independence and the joy of them getting to spread their wings. It really is so cool to watch. Luckily, I have a daughter that's 22, so I have seen this in action up close and personal. And then my son at 15, we're starting to go through this process. So just remember, you're not alone. There are millions of women navigating this really exciting, sometimes messy transition. So embrace that journey and reconnect with yourself and your partner, and also take the joy in watching your incredible children blossom. Becoming a next chapter woman and mama is a beautiful journey. It's going to just be about shedding that skin of who you were and then embracing that beautiful, powerful woman you were always meant to become. Creating a life you love is seriously the tagline for my coaching firm. I really mean this because this chapter is about you too. I know I have repeated this over and over again today, but I want you to really hear it. How does that make you feel? Are you nervous? Are you excited? Because this chapter is really yours to write. There's no one size fits all story. There's no right or wrong way to navigate the journey. You have already faced challenges. You have nurtured your dreams and you have already started the process of building a beautiful life. Now it's time to step into and tap into some of that same strength and courage to now rewrite this story or continue to the next chapter. This isn't going to be the end. It's a new beginning. And let me tell you, you're going to rock it. I can't wait to see what you do with it. And here's a little plug. We start the Shine by Design 6-week program on July 18th. If you want to learn how to embody this new chapter, join us. I promise you, it is life-changing. And I can honestly say that because I have watched my clients transform. They have shared their stories. And let me tell you, friends, this session is going to be even more amazing because we have 5 experts coming in that are going to knock your socks off. As a matter of fact, some of them have even been on the podcast already. And so the value of that alone is worth every penny. We have a holistic nutritionist and coach. We have a human design expert. We have an anxiety expert for women. We have a stylist that's all about embodying who you are from the inside out. We have a motivational speaker and peak performance coach. Again, a few of these have already been on the podcast, and the ones that haven't will be. So I am bursting with excitement because if you want in, there is a special that's happening until July 17th. This is going to be a massive summer makeover. So I want you to imagine this fall walking into your life with more joy, less stress, a whole new you with a whole new mindset. No more thinking, I wish I could, I want to. Instead, commit to something that is sustainable. And I promise you, you will thank yourself. All you have to do is simply DM me on Facebook or IG, Instagram. You'll find me at joyful_Noelle. And all of this info, all of my information on how you can get in touch is in the show notes. And I cannot wait. It's going to be so fun. All right, you guys, until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and know that the best is yet to come. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining me here today. Your presence means the world to me. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider leaving a rating and review. And don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Head to the show notes and let's connect. Rise to Shine Co. is ready to support you in coaching, collaboration, life tips, or even a coffee chat. Until next time, keep shining, my friends.